Okay, so I think we have everybody. So welcome everybody. My name is Charlie Murta and I'm a product engineer working for Hikvision now for 4 years. So for the next, say, 40 or 50 minutes, we'll actually initially say for the next 15 or 20 minutes, we'll discuss our AcuSense technology. Then we'll take a quick 2-minute break and then we can discuss our ColorVu technology, which is probably another further 15 minutes or so. So we should get done under the hour. Shouldn't be any issues there. So everything you need to know about AcuSense. So if you have any questions during the webinar, you can click the Q&A tab below to ask, and we'll get through your answers. So not the chat tab, it's the Q&A tab. Just you can write in any questions there. So conventional VCA. So first off, why we've introduced AcuSense. So AcuSense is Hikvision's way of delivering accurate content analysis on a normal or conventional perimeter security system. The end user is sometimes faced with extra objects in the field of view, such as you see here, cats or so if you think of, say, a conventional camera with basic analytics or software analytics, something like it's difficult for that conventional camera's analytics to tell the difference between a genuine alarm and a false alarm. So things like cats configure a VCA event. Something like a light here can cause like say a glare. So it doesn't just make it difficult for the operator to see detail within the scene, but it also can trigger a VCA event as well. Adverse weather here, so again, it's making it difficult for the operator to see the scene perfectly or any detail within the scene, but also it can trigger a VCA event. Spiders are a big one, a common one. Obviously, they're attracted to the IRs within the camera housing itself. So we've all seen that using, say, conventional cameras with basic analytics that day or the next morning, and you're being sent 30 or 40 push notifications to your phone, and generally it's just literally a spider and a spider's web activating it, causing and generating VCA events. Or foliage is another one as well. So these extra objects can cause some pain points for the end user, and particularly monitoring stations or surveillance operators. As you can see here, push notifications constantly being sent to, say, an end user, or video event videos constantly being sent to a monitoring station. So if they find themselves in a situation where they're receiving constant false alarms and spending too much time trying to decipher between the genuine alarms, say, versus the false alarms, this can obviously get very frustrating and also costly. So what is AcuSense? AcuSense is an intelligent video analysis technology based on deep learning algorithms, which detects targets and classifies them into 2 group categories, human and vehicle. So the use of AcuSense technology results in more reliable, useful alarms for users. So basically, what we see here, it's literally an algorithm within a GPU, within the housing of a camera or within the housing of an NVR, which is specifically designed to recognize a human or a vehicle and then push that genuine alarm versus false alarms, as you might see here. So again, human and vehicle targets are detected accurately. Interference caused by other objects, such as animals, leaves, light, rain, etc., is reduced intelligently and efficiently. So you can see here, genuine alarms, such as a human vehicle, is pushed to whatever that surveillance center or platform is, whereas the algorithm within the GPU recognizes that there's other things within the scene, but classifies them as false alarms and doesn't send them to whatever platform it's been sent to. So benefits, so quick target search. So using AcuSense technology, the camera/DVR identifies the target as human or vehicle. The backend MVR or DVR sorts the events and allocates human or vehicle events to separate files. So what you're seeing here is basically the GUI within the DVR. You can see here we're on the Smart Analysis tab here. And what you can actually do is you can search by human or vehicle. So you'd come into this area of the GUI. You choose your camera, you choose your analytics. So in this case, human body detection. You press search and it'll literally show you every time a human being entered that particular scene that day or whatever timeline you choose. The same goes for vehicle search. If you choose vehicle search, again, choose the camera, press search. It'll show you every time a vehicle entered the scene that day or again, whatever timeline you choose. So what's presented it basically is in a thumbnail fashion. And if you click on that thumbnail, it will play a video. So it'll be something like, say, a 60-second or 90-second video event of what actually triggered that alarm. So that's the search engine, the quick search engine within the DVR itself. So Motion 2. So the latest AcuSense technology release supports Motion 2 motion detection. So compared to conventional motion detection, or what we would have called Motion 1, Motion 2 offers target classification of humans and vehicles. So Motion 2 provides major advantages for customers in its ability to significantly reduce the false alarm rate, filtering out non-targeted movement, and only providing alerts with those human vehicle targets or human or vehicle targets are identified. So if you can see here, Motion 2 is enabled by default for full screen detection. So when your installer plugs this in, this part is plug and play. It's literally set up full screen detection on each channel within the recorder itself. And again, this motion detection, it's using an algorithm within the GPU. So it's looking for a human being, it's looking for a vehicle. So it's not your standard motion motion that you would have known, motion detection that you would have known, say Motion 1, where I'm sure you've experienced it, where literally anything can activate it. This is working alongside an algorithm within the GPU, which is literally looking for a human or a vehicle, and that's it. So default, it's set up for full screen, but obviously the engineer can modify this to a specific area within the screen if they want. An advantage over using Motion 2, say over the likes of line crossing, is Motion 2, you can obviously, if anything enters, you can do full screen detection. So if anything enters that screen, say a vehicle or a human, you're going to get an activation. Obviously you can't achieve this with line crossing. If you put a line crossing here, even if it's a high-end camera, and you can put up to, say, 4 rules within the scene itself, you're never going to get the full screen detection that, say, something like Motion 2 here can offer you. So a big advantage there. So in terms of our playback, so I showed you the quick target search within Smart Analysis within the recorder. This is playback. So click on this here. So if we choose Smart Playback, so this can skip any irrelevant scenes and only playback human or vehicle event footage. So basically, if I show you here now, let this play. So you can choose, say, click on your human icon tab down here, and it will only show you human events within the playback. So basically here, this blue line along the bottom, this is your continuous recording. Basically your broken red line above that, that's every time, say, a human entered the particular scene. So you can either click on your continuous blue line to see specific times that within the footage that you might want to view, or else you can click on the broken red lines, which is an actual time when, say, a human entered the scene. So if you click on the human icon, and then the other option then is the vehicle icon. So this will only show you when, say, in the red broken line, when a vehicle entered the scene. So you can search for human only events or vehicle only events in your normal playback as standard with this technology. So white light and audio alarm for IP. So users can upload a custom voice message to suit their specific requirements. Some of the cameras have a white light and audio alarms for intrusion, including pre-recordings, two-way audio, and customized messages.
Warning: this is a restricted area. Please keep away.
So in this case, obviously this intruder has broken a VCA, whether it be line crossing, intrusion detection, or motion 2. And basically the supplement light illuminated, and simultaneously the audio message, be it pre-recorded or customized, played. So this is our white light and audio alarm for turbo. So one thing to note about the turbo range is that to benefit from the white light and audible alarms, the DVRs with AcuSense technology requires to work with the Turbo X style camera or PIR camera. So I'll show you what the Turbo X is if you haven't seen it before. Just play this video just to show you. So great production there, I'm sure you agree. But the Turbo X camera, so obviously this is the camera with the supplement lights built into it. You have the blue light and the red light, and PIR also built into the housing. So obviously if an intruder sets this off, that those lights will illuminate, and the siren will then and sound. But in terms of setting it up, I like this in terms of the setup because it's like a double knock feature when you connect this to a DVR. So you'd initially, to set it up, you'd actually go into the DVR, go into PTZ control, and then you'd enable the light, you'd enable the siren, you'd enable the PIR, and then within the recorder itself, you'd actually enable motion detection within the scene as well as the recorder is looking at that scene. So it's like a double knock situation. So the siren won't sound and the lights won't illuminate unless both the PIR that's built into the Turbo X and the motion detection within the recorder both agree that something has entered the scene. So it's like a double knock situation that's set up. So I'll just play this video for you here.
When security camera became smart, we started to suffer from false alarms. A rolling ball from your neighbour? Or just your happy dog? AcuSense technology by Hikvision only distinguishes vehicles and people from other moving objects, vastly reducing irrelevant alarms.
Hey, can I help you?
Oh, sorry, wrong address.
Welcome to our store.
Hi, welcome.
When something really happens, AcuSense network camera can react with a strobe light and customizable voice siren and help to prevent loss. AcuSense, focus and act to human and vehicle events.
Okay, so sometimes a video can explain better than anything. So you can see what happened there. An intruder walked into that person's driveway, activated a VCA, then that the camera recognized it was a genuine alarm. It was a human being, pushed it in to the customer's HitConnect app as a push notification. The customer was then able to see the push notification, then go into live view in the same field, and then actually speak to the person on site. So what the person on site would have seen obviously would be, her here on site would have been the audible alarm, potentially supplement light flashing, but they'd also be able to hear, following the audible message, they'd also be able to hear the end user talk to them via the HitConnect app as well. So introducing the product family. So as illustrated here, we have a full range of products that support the AcuSense range. So we've many bullets, turrets, domes, varifocal bullets, and varifocal domes. We also have a range of devices to support the white light and audio alarms here, as you can see. Again, mini bullets, turrets, varifocal bullets. Also, one thing to note, externally rated as well. Initially, the likes of the turret, when released, was not externally rated. So we obviously have externally rated cameras here with this technology and supplement light and audible alarms built into it. In terms of resolution, they're offered in 2, 4, and 8 megapixel. So the turbo range of AcuSense digital video recorders are easy to define by the par codes with IDS at the beginning of the code here, as you can see, and B at the end of the code. So if you see something like IDS here, I is for intelligent recorder, and then B basically at the end of the code means second generation. So that's obviously something I'd advise you go for the latest and second generation. Okay, so that's basically AcuSense covered. So if it's okay with you, suits you, we'll take a couple of minutes comfort break, and then we'll come back then and I can go through ColorVu technology, which is probably another 10 or 15 minutes or so. It's short enough presentation. Okay, talk to you soon. Thank you. Okay, we're back now. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So we'll start our ColorVu now. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so thank you for your time during the AcuSense presentation. So now we can focus on ColorVu. So ColorVu is our view in color, even in darkness range of cameras. So questions and answers time here. So what is this? Is it a grapefruit or an orange? So the answer, of course, is an orange. This shows the importance of color. Without color, you cannot say for sure what fruit it actually is. So color is a core factor in every object. It provides important information, as in the case of the orange here. Color information allows us to make more accurate judgments about the nature of the objects and to differentiate them from the objects around them. So color information provides us with more data, and with more data we can make better decisions. This is obviously very relevant in the surveillance industry, certainly, where you'd have said like video monitoring stations, and the purpose is to provide precise, and detailed information to users, and especially at nighttime or dark environments, when generally most kind of dangerous incidents occur. If you can introduce color into that situation, obviously it's going to be a massive advantage. So color makes a difference. As I said, it provides core information regarding all objects. No color means limited information about the objects in the field of view. With ColorVu cameras, the detail is greatly enhanced, improving the detail you can take from the image and the footage itself. So if you see, even in these particular examples here, it's very difficult to see that there's actually a person in the top left-hand corner of the scene here. So these are obviously conventional cameras using IR LEDs. So you can see here your detail is very limited without color. It's difficult to tell. There's someone here in the top left-hand corner of the scene itself. In this image, obviously it's difficult to tell what type of fruit the woman is dealing with. And more specifically, I suppose, in the last image here, it's difficult to tell, impossible to tell the color of the vehicles, and very difficult to see any alphanumeric characters in the registration plates there. However, when using ColorVu cameras, the detail is always the key for CCTV. Losing detail means losing valid evidence. So you can see here, with color introduced, you can quite clearly see the person in the top left hand corner of the screen. Not only that, as they approach the camera, you can tell what color top they're wearing, you know, what color shoes, runners they're wearing, what type of runners they're wearing. In this scene here, you can see quite clearly what fruit the woman is taking. More importantly, in the last scene here, you can tell the colors of the car. You can quite clearly see the registration numbers. So a massive, massive advantage. So conventional cameras can easily miss details, especially at night, where ColorVu cameras were designed to conquer this very problem. So a massive advantage, obviously, when you introduce color within the scene itself. So a little bit about the technology behind ColorVu. The cameras with larger apertures can receive more light. So ColorVu cameras have an impressively large aperture of f1.0, as you can see here. So conventional CCTV cameras on the market generally have about 1.6 to 2 aperture sizes. So the amount of usable light received by a camera with 1.0 aperture is 2.56 times compared to that of a 1.6 aperture, and 4 times greater than that of a 2.0 aperture. So the ColorVu camera utilizes an advanced sensor, as you can see here, with high photoelectronic conversion efficiency. So this means that the light coming into the camera is converted into an electrical signal with high efficiency, allowing the ColorVu camera sensor to make better use of the received light. So basically the result is that the image obtained by the ColorVu camera is much brighter than that of a conventional camera. So combining the large aperture and the advanced sensor, the ColorVu camera is able to provide amazingly bright and vivid images in dark environments. So in some extreme circumstances where there will be, say, no light source whatsoever, the ColorVu camera will enable a white supplement light to guarantee it can provide full colored images. So the ColorVu supplement light is a warm light with an anti-glare diffusion lens, as you see here. So this means the lighting is gentle and friendly to the human eye, in comparison to, say, your more common supplement lighting, which is causing a glare and potentially could affect the operator's ability to see detail in the scene. So it's worth noting also that conventional harsh white lighting can sometimes work against the very security reason it's supposed to offer. So it can alert intruders or thieves to the presence of cameras and actually can provide light in dark areas for them to operate. So let's watch some ColorVu videos here. So what you'll see is a scene witnessed through a mobile phone versus the same scene witnessed through a ColorVu camera. We'll start with the first video here. So this is what you can see through a mobile phone. Versus what you can see through a ColorVu camera connected to a HD monitor. Again, same what you can see through a mobile phone versus a ColorVu camera. So massive difference. You can see the amount of the supplement light is introducing the light into the scene, introducing color, which obviously introduces more detail, more definition, more chance of catching a suspect or identifying a genuine alarm versus a false alarm. So massive advantage, obviously, using ColorVu over a conventional camera. So just a bit of a comparison here. So if we see here, so this is a residential type scenario here. So you can see here, this is obviously a conventional camera using IR LEDs. So no color in the scene whatsoever. Difficult to see the sky, difficult to see the color of the vehicle, obviously. Introducing a ColorVu camera down within the scene with a supplement light, obviously flooding the scene with color. You can identify the color of the vehicle, You know, you can better identify the human being in the scene as well. And most kind of installation companies that we deal with, who are working closely with the police, you know, they're being told that in some cases, in most cases, the police can actually tell particular individuals just by, you know, the type of hoodie or color of the top they're wearing, or the pair of particular runners that they're wearing. It gives them a better chance to try and find the culprit, basically. So public space also, as you can see here, the public space image is so good in ColorVu. You can actually see the stars in the night here, as opposed to your conventional camera with IR lamps. Very little detail, definition reduced, and very little chance of identifying a suspect versus trying to identify them when the image is in color. So another comparison here. So I suppose an advantage of ColorVu cameras here is that the ColorVu does not suffer from reflection issues and bad weather, which allows users to obtain clear images at night. So this can also reduce a lot of false alarms caused by IR reflection when setting up line crossing or motion detection. So one thing, even we probably all had experience of this, you know, using conventional cameras with basic analytics or software analytics, you know, and say rain, and obviously the conventional camera has IR built into it. The IR can bounce off the rain itself, which can then, it's difficult then for the basic analytics or the software analytics to identify whether it's a genuine alarm or a false alarm. So generally what you'll get is multiple false alarms during adverse weather conditions. Whereas the ColorVu, you don't have to worry about this issue. Everything is in color. You've no IR LEDs bouncing off the rain in front of the scene itself. So reduction massively in false alarms. Same issue with snow with a conventional camera, IR bouncing off the snow basically in front of it. So it's obviously affecting the operator's ability to see the scene, and also potentially sending, you know, something like, as I said, basic analytics, software analytics, and you know, find it difficult to decipher between whether this is a genuine alarm or a false alarm. So you'll have the operator struggling to witness something in the scene, and also you'll have false alarms being sent because of it. But obviously with the ColorVu camera, it's introducing light within the scene, introducing color, more detail, more defined, easier to identify somebody, and you don't have the disadvantage of IR LEDs in the camera housing bouncing off the snow or the rain, triggering VCAs. So here's an overview of the product range itself. So G1 basically is the PoC, which means the first generation, and the number 7 refers to ColorVu technology. The U on brackets here, so we offer our ColorVu cameras with a built-in microphone if required also. In terms of resolution, 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel, externally rated, low lux levels of 0.0014, and again, as I said, you can get models with a built-in microphone as well. So our product showcase in relation to Turbo. So the Turbo ColorVu, the difference here is the DF and the HF. So DF is in relation to 2 megapixel, and the HF basically means 5 megapixel. So we have 2 megapixel and 5 megapixel ColorVu cameras in the Turbo range, all externally rated, offering low lux levels of 0.0005 lux. Obviously 0 lux activates the supplement light, so it's very much like a photocell scenario. When a low enough lux level is produced, the photocell changes over and switches on the supplement light. So new trends for IP. So technologies are constantly evolving and developing. We believe that there are two important trends for security cameras. One is the increased importance of full color imaging. The other is AI. So we predict that future cameras will combine the two trends in one product or solution. So this will eventually see ColorVu combined and integrated with AI technology, providing significant improvements from both elements. So working to enhance AI technology, ColorVu can provide high efficiency image perception, rich details and attributes, which all aids in broadening the application of AI to new environments and users. So conversely, AI technology is able to help ColorVu to develop with self-adaptive image improvement, better image quality and clearer targets. So taking that into account, basically what we've done is we've introduced AcuSense technology within the ColorVu camera itself. So AcuSense, as we heard earlier on in the first presentation, it's an algorithm within a GPU specifically designed to recognize a human being or a vehicle and push that to whatever platform is required and not push basically false alarms. So you have a camera here with a supplement ColorVu light, and you also have within the same camera a GPU with an advanced analytical algorithm within it. So it's a fantastic offering in terms of protecting, say, a perimeter of a site. So if we move on, so just before I do move on, just the G2 here, so you notice that the last one was G1, which denoted basically first generation. So this is obviously the second generation. So look out for this. If this is the particular camera you require, where you're looking for something with the advanced algorithm, AcuSense advanced algorithm, and the ColorVu and the one housing, make sure it's the G2 you look for. And again, U denotes an inbuilt microphone if it's required. So these particular cameras here come in 2 and 4 megapixel. So in this particular one, this is introducing ColorVu. This is in our turbo, introducing ColorVu technology and PoC technology in the one camera. So basically what we've done is we've combined the best two features, I suppose, within our turbo range together to launch the ColorVu power of our coax cameras. So these enable users to take advantage of the extraordinary 24/7 ColorVu images from ColorVu and reduce installation costs at the same time. So the benefits of Turbo ColorVu PoC are colorful images, as I said, 24/7, and a one cable solution for existing installations. So those of you who used our PoC, the first version of PoC, you might remember it was a separate PoC unit. So what you had to do, you had to BNC out of your DVR, then BNC into the input of the PoC separate unit, then BNC out of the output of the PoC unit, and then BNC into the camera itself. So you're making out 4 BNCs basically per camera, basically. But now with using our K/P DVRs, the PoC unit is inbuilt into the recorder itself. So you're making off the BNC at the DVR and a BNC then at the camera itself. So you know, in that regard, it's reduced labor. It's only 2 BNCs versus 4 previously. But obviously, with the PoC technology, what you're achieving is basically power down the same cable. Say, for example, an RG59, power down the same cable, and video simultaneously down the same cable. You know, so massively reduced labor and hopefully improve your margin at the end of the day, basically. So product showcase, so these are fixed lens cameras. So the next generation of turbo ColorVu cameras would support smart warm light. So the darker it gets, the brighter the smart light, basically. So very much controlled by like a photocell. So you can see here HF, which denotes basically 5 megapixel. So some are offered in 20 meters of smart warm light, some are 40 meters. Again, within it is our 1.0 super aperture, which collects more light to produce a brighter image, and our advanced sensor, as I mentioned. So it also has 3D noise reduction. So any, say, interference, which, you know, in, say, in a conventional camera, you might see like horizontal lines or something like that. That type of interference, 3D NR within the camera would suppress that. And obviously, if you can suppress any type of interference, electrical or otherwise, obviously you can improve the image. So that's why we put these in as standard. So externally rated, with the fixed lens camera, it offers PoC. We've a varifocal range here, and just sticking with the PoC for the moment, it actually offers 3 different types of power. So you can power these cameras using PoC, AC or DC, so triple power supply option within it, basically. So these are the varifocal, as I said. So these are the world's first camera to realize 24/7 ColorVu imaging across all focal lengths. So as you can see there, 2.8 to 12 millimeter. It's a motorized lens that we're offering within this range. So I suppose I'd like to say that they're you know, these are not just a standard varifocal lens camera, and that the product will definitely be ahead of the market for potentially 1-2 years, but definitely is ahead of the market with this regard. So like technically, and the reason why technically it's quite difficult actually to make you know, a 1.0 aperture across all of the focal lengths, so 2.8 to 12 millimeter. It's difficult to introduce this type of 1.0 aperture within this focal range, basically. So this is due in theory, as bigger focal lengths mean the smaller the aperture. However, we've got this sorted thanks to the special design and high-end sensor. So these devices will also support up to 40 meters of smart white light, as you can see here. But the huge thing here is that the supplement light brightness will actually change automatically as per the focal length. So if you're using a motorized lens and you have it set for 2.8 millimeter, so obviously that denotes, say, a wide angle image. So what will happen is less power. The camera will recognize that the motorized lens has moved down to 2.8 millimeter and will send less power basically to the supplement light because it's only looking at a wide angle lens. However, if you increase that motorized lens up to 12 millimeter, so obviously the higher millimeter lens, the longer the distance the camera can see. So the camera is intelligent enough to recognize that the motorized lens has been moved up to 12 millimeter, and that's what it's looking at. So the camera will send more power basically to supplement light or lights, so that that longer distance chosen will be illuminated, basically. So 2 megapixel offering, low lux level, 0.003 lux. Again, as I said, our 1.0 aperture between 2.8 and 12 millimeter, and externally rated. So that's basically it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the 2 presentations back to back. The first one on our AcuSense technology, followed by our ColorVu technology. Hopefully, as I actually just went through the presentations themselves, I answered any questions you might have had in your mind naturally. However, as I mentioned earlier on, if there's any further questions, my colleagues are on board there, so just feel free to put your questions in the Q&A tab and we'll answer them for you. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys.